What's going on, boxing fans? Julian Williams here at the distance. I got a post-fight video for you guys. John Murray versus Andriy Kudryavtsev. Matchup took place yesterday in the UK. John Murray's European lightweight championship. Honestly, I've never seen a fight from John Murray until recently, until like a couple minutes ago. Just watched the 9 round fight and 9 round matchup, and it was a one-sided beating. Kudryavtsev, was there to fight, and stood in front of him and was brave the whole entire fight. But anyway, talking about the match, John Murray. I at first heard of him not too long ago. I heard that he was in the mix to possibly face Victor Ortiz in December in a light welterweight matchup, and they were even commenting on it through the commentary throughout the fight towards the end. But looking at John Murray's style, I could tell that he comes to fight and he likes to fight. And I've also done a little bit of research on him too, and I see that coming into the fight, he was coming off of 5 straight knockout victories. So in this matchup, he was coming in to look for his 6th consecutive knockout victory over Andriy Kudryavtsev. Kudryavtsev is a fighter who has fought primarily in Ukraine throughout his career. Had quite a few losses, but was just a tough opponent. He fought, like I said, none of the opponents that Kudryavtsev has faced is nobody that's necessarily recognizable to me. And just basically because of the scene that he fought on. He fought in a different scene, in the Ukraine boxing scene, and he's only fought in Ukraine and France throughout his career, just by doing research on him. But in the first round, John Murray came in, and it just seemed as if Kudryavtsev was waiting on an opportunity, and Murray was taking advantage and using that to his advantage. He was taking advantage of the fact that it seemed as if Kudryavtsev was waiting and not attacking, and Murray was doing all the attacking in the first 2 rounds. Murray did a good job measuring him with the left jab and occasional right hands that would kind of penetrate the guard. He looked for body shots and looked for openings using his jab, and had a little bit of upper body movement of the shoulders that led to openings to the body. And Kudryavtsev just stood there. He would throw back from time to time to try to counter, but at times the counter shot was there. A couple counter right hands landed for Andriy Kudryavtsev, but they didn't have much of an effect. It was more so of Murray going back and him landing shots, but at the same time, Murray was landing his shots at will. He would land, and it looked like the slowest shot would even land on Kudryavtsev. So the first 2 rounds I scored for John Murray. Round three, John Murray came in. Kudryavtsev started to work a little bit more, but Murray continued to pressure him. And even though Kudryavtsev did a little more than he did in the first 2 rounds, it seemed as if he was chasing him a little bit. It seemed as if he was chasing, but they both were the entire fight was squared up, and they were pretty much going toe to toe the entire fight. But Murray, rounds 3 and 4, I give to Murray. Round 5, Kudryavtsev started to work a little bit more. Murray's energy kind of went down a little bit in the 5th round. Kudryavtsev started to come in and get inside a little bit more. A lot of shots in round 5 were landing from the inside. Murray wasn't necessarily working off the jab anymore. He stopped using his jab as much as he was in the earlier rounds, but it kind of wore down from round 1 on. But in rounds 4 and 5, he started to kind of throw a lot of hooks on the inside and try to land, and Kudryavtsev continued to come forward. But I scored for Murray. I scored round 5 for Murray. I scored round 6 for Murray, based on clean punching and aggression. Round 7, I saw the work rate go down for John Murray. His work rate went down a little bit more. He looked a little bit slower in round 7. He looked a little bit slower, but he was still able to get the job done. He was able to get his jab off. He was able to work off. He was able to work a little bit off the jab, but more so he started to punch a little more to the body. He'd go more to the body. He would kind of try to get Kudryavtsev on the ropes. Kudryavtsev continued to come forward and land quite a few shots. They both would land shots on the inside. Murray landed a pretty good uppercut on the inside and a good right hand to the body. But I scored round 7 for Murray. Round 8 I scored for Murray based on aggression and clean punching. Round 9, if you look at the fight and coming into round 9, it looked like Murray was just ready to fight and ready to take him out. Kudryavtsev was a little slow coming off the stool in that round, but in that round you were probably able to tell that Kudryavtsev didn't have much left. He was brave and he was standing and taking the shots from Murray throughout the entire fight, but it just looked as he was holding, and at the beginning of the 9th round he just wasn't throwing as many punches as he did in the other rounds. And there was a moment he had this little offensive spurt in round 9, but Murray turned around and just opened up on him. Well, he was on the ropes, and a few seconds later the matchup ended. I don't think it was an early stoppage at all, because it was a stoppage, and Kudryavtsev did complain about the stoppage, but it was, in my opinion, it wasn't early. Murray was winning all the rounds. Kudryavtsev didn't have a puncher's chance. He seemed tired. He was already beaten up and was starting to hold, and it was the only round he was holding in round 9. So everything was just pointing to John Murray in this matchup. Is he ready for Victor Ortiz or Humberto Soto, Michael Castides, and Juan Manuel Marquez? I honestly don't think he's ready for these fights. I think that he should consider coming over to the United States and facing some of the fighters out here that correlate the styles of these fighters, and see how that does for him. But John Murray overall had a great victory over Andriy Kudryavtsev. There were some flaws in there, but overall he went in, he got the job done. But in my opinion, I don't think he's ready for that step up in competition that many people are talking about. But because fighting in the United States is a lot different from fighting in the UK. There's just different styles of fighting, and I don't think that John Murray is ready for it. So anyway, guys, John Murray I had winning all rounds, and that's my breakdown for the matchup. But anyway, till next time, you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace.